Hey everyone, hope you're having a good July, enjoying the summer weather. Hope it's not too hot for you all. So today we're going to be going over Bluebook Test 1, Math Module 1, Question 10. And this one is about the steps of functions. We're going to do 3 warm-ups, building up to it, and then we're going to try the question from the test. So here's the question, warm-up number 1. G of x equals 3 times 1/2 to the x power. For the given function, what is the x-intercept? Right, so remember, right, that x-intercepts are when you have the line crossing, right? So this would be the x-intercept when you cross here, right? And when does that happen? It happens when y equals 0. So basically, when does g of x equal 0? Okay, so question mark, right? And now if you notice the graph, right, it's going to be 3 times 1/2 to the x, so it's going to be shrinking, right? As x gets bigger, it shrinks. As x gets smaller and goes negative, it gets bigger. But are we ever going to get to be 0, right? If we do 1/2 to the million power, it's going to be a very small number. I don't even know what that number will be, but it won't be 0, right? So we're going to be approaching 0, but not actually crossing into 0. So if we graphed it, right, it would look something like, we have this little graph, right, this little chart, and then we go something like this, right? You just climb and climb and climb. So it's going to be like that, right? It's going to keep getting smaller and smaller. Okay, but it's never actually going to cross the x-axis. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go to the answer choices, right? We have a equals 0, or a equals 3, which doesn't fully work. That would be the y-intercept when x is 0, right? We get 1/2 to the 0 power is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. When b is 1, we have b is 1, so that also doesn't work. And then c is 0.5, that's going here. So none of those work. It's d, right? Does not exist because it never actually crosses the x-axis. Okay. All right, so now let's try the next question. What is g of x equals 3 times 6/5 to the x power? What is the initial value of the above function? So the initial value, when we talk about that, right, it is usually talking about what it is when x equals 0. So g of 0 we're going to do right now. We'll do g of 0 equals 3 times 6/5 to the 0 power. Right? So anything to the 0 power becomes 1, so this is 3 times 1, and that just gets us 3, which is A, right? So we look at the other answer choices, right? We have a 1, which doesn't, it would have to be when x is some sort of negative value. B is 1.2, that would happen when, if we had no 3, right, and it was just focused on the 6/5. A is the one we got, so that's good, and D is when x is 1, okay? Okay, now let's go to the next question. G of x equals 3, 1/2 x, 3 to the 1/2 x power. For the given function, what type of graph will it make, right? So we have exponential increasing, linear decreasing, and linear increasing. So for this, what we want to do is notice how this is an exponential function, right? Because it's to the x power, that makes it exponential. It's not a straight line. And then it's below 1, right? 1/2 x is below, 1/2 is below 1. So we're going to do exponential decreasing. It's going to be A, okay? And then just as a reminder, right, graphically, what does that look like? We have a graph, and now we have a straight line going up. So now if we have a line going up, right, that'd be linear increasing. If you have a line going down, linear decreasing. If we have something like this going up, that's exponential increasing. And then we have something like this going down, flattening out, that's exponential decreasing. Okay, so that's how you do this one, and now we'll go on to the next question. The last one, which is actually question 10 from the Bluebook Test 1. So g of x equals 11 times 1/12 to the x power. The given function g is graphed in the xy plane where y equals g of x. What is the y-intercept of the graph? So the y-intercept, right, is sort of what they're talking about. And then we would go with y-intercept here is going to be what the value is when x is 0. Even if you didn't know that, by looking at the answer choices, right, which you always want to do, you can see that it's what is it when x is 0, right? So plug in 0 for x, you're going to have g of 0 equals 11 times 1/12 to the x power, right? Or we're going to make that to the 0 power right here. So it's going to be 1/12 to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is 1, so it's 11 times 1, and that equals 11. You wouldn't want to write that out on the actual test because you should be able to do that mentally, especially with the answer choices here, but I'm just doing for illustrative purposes. So we can cross off C, 0, 1, 0, 12 we can cross off, and then we can cross off 0, 1, 32, right? So then we're going to get 0, 11a. All right, so I hope this video helped with question 10 and let you think about exponential functions, and we will go over next question next week, question 11. And again, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments. And if you like this video, like it and subscribe for more SAT help. All right, bye.